Ladies and gentlemen, this came out on CNN Politics, September 21st, 2020. Now, Ron DeSantis, man, this guy is the worst governor in America. He's horrible. And he now wants to crack down on protesters. It's been months of protesting and it's still going strong. It's just that they took it out of the media because, hey, I guess it's getting to them. And you remember back over the summer, Trump wanted to use the military on the protesters until the generals took a stand and told him, no, you are not going to turn the military on the American citizens. So he's down there. I guess he think he's like, Trump's lapdog here. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis called for legislation aimed at cracking down on disorderly protest. Well, good luck. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis released a sweeping set of proposals on Monday that would dramatically crack down on people who attend protests that turn violent or disorderly by threatening them with a mix of felonies and increased jail time. The proposals, which DeSantis, a Republican, called the boldest and most comprehensive piece of legislation on the issue of civil disobedience. So he's now trying to target law enforcement to use on these crowds more heavily. So giving them more permission to go out there and pull guns on them and beat them and haul them off to jail, like they're not doing that now. Okay, so collectively, the proposed legislation represents a dramatic, if still merely proposed, escalation in the Florida governor embrace of the president, calls for law and order. He kills me saying that. Man that got the most disorderly life is calling for law and order. Okay. Those followed a summer of nationwide protests have taken place in cities since the killing of George Floyd on May 25th by the Minneapolis police officers. While the wide majority of the protests remain peaceful, a report from September 4th found that 93% of racial justice protests since George Floyd's death have been peaceful and non-destructive. A minority were interrupted by violence. DeSantis said the proposal, which was introduced at a Monday press conference, called for combating violence, disorder, and looting and Law Enforcement Protection Act, would impose stiff criminal penalties for actions such as blocking roadways, disrupting restaurants, and toppling monuments. Ain't talking about them damn Confederate statues. You see videos of these innocent people eating and have these crazed lunatics just screaming at them and intimidating them on a public accommodation. So this is what he's saying. This effort is just one goal: silence, criminalize, and penalize Floridians who want to see justice for Black lives, who just, were lost to racial violence, because that's all these cops are doing. Oh boy. And they got everybody sitting on edge over the Breonna Taylor verdict. And they're going to let those cops walk. They're doing too much that's indicating that. Among the proposals is a measure allowing motorists to be waived of liability should they happen to kill or injure a protester. So, in other words, if the protesters are out there, you're behind the wheel, you hit one of these protesters, he's making it easy for you to get out of it for running over a protester. That's what he's saying. Use your car, hit one of the protesters, we'll make it, you'll waive the liability. You won't be in trouble for that. The governor said the legislation also enables the state to use RICO, liability against anyone who organize or fund these kind of disorderly assemblies. And he cited that the handling of the Portland protest is an example of what not to do. Why don't you deal with what the people are out there for? They're out there for racial injustice in policing. Y'all will deal with anything except for that. So I guess you better get used to those long protests. What you have to have is clear and predictable penalties, Desantis says. I look at what goes on in Portland, and they'll have people, they'll arrest them. But these, listen, scraggly looking Antifa types, this is what he's saying. And they get their mugshot taken and then they get released. And it's like a carousel. On and on it goes. Well, who set up the laws in this country? Y'all set up these laws. So if they're walking out, whether it's Antifa or someone else, if they're walking out, whose fault is that? Okay, y'all set up the laws. So you're the one responsible for them getting booked and then turn around and walking out. Y'all the one where you set up the laws. Nobody else did that. According to the governor's office, the next legislative session will be March 2021, but committees will begin meeting later this year to begin the process of crafting the language of the bill and finding sponsors. Yeah, I think those protesters are getting to him now. But y'all, please tell me what you think. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.